All right, I am back. This is Mr. James with your writing activity for day 2. Just as we did yesterday, we're going to go through the vocabulary words first, and then you'll have an opportunity to do your write in response to reading. So if you will please make sure you have a book with you so that you can go through and find the words for yourself in the text, and we can use context clues to figure out what those words mean together. The first word that we have is the word scorched, and that is going to be located on page 10. I believe the heading actually says scorched in it. Yep, I am absolutely right on the top page 10 there. It says scorched earth. And the text reads, the Tibetans began to realize that they could not fight off the British with their powerful weapons. Instead, they began a, quote, scorched earth campaign where they destroyed anything the British might find useful. So if they are going to be destroying things, we know that that probably is scorched earth. And if we look further on, it says villages were deserted, supplies were carried away and hidden, and crops were burned. And you might be familiar with this word already. The present tense verb is the word scorch, and our definition we're giving it is burned. So things that are burned have been scorched. Morphological link is the word scorch. We could also say scorching as well if it were a present tense type of verb instead. And the sample sentence says, Mr. James could feel the top of his bald head being scorched by the sun. It's not totally bald right now, but as you can tell, it's on its way there. Really quickly, just so everyone is clear, when you get to these points again, I'm going to tell you that this is a time that you should pause the video so that you can write your own sample sentence with good contextual clues so that someone could figure out what the word means even without you explicitly telling them. Go ahead and write your own sentence now after pausing the video. All right, glad you got that sentence written. Next word is the word campaign, and it is a noun found on page 10 also. And I believe it was even in that same exact sentence that we wrote. And yes, it was in fact in the scorched earth section, right in that same top section there. And the text says, instead, they began a scorched earth campaign where they destroyed everything the British might find useful. Now, you've probably heard the word campaign before in terms of like someone who's running for a political office, like a presidential campaign, or maybe like a campaign for a senator, or a campaign for anyone who's trying to get elected. I don't think that's the definition that we're looking for here in this text, although it is one of the definitions of the word campaign. And this word actually, in this case, we're going to say it means a mission. But as we said earlier, it can also mean to run for office or to get support. I know that we could have changed it into a verb and given a morphological link of campaigning because that's something that you're actually doing. So it would be a verb. I'd love to see what other morphological links that you come up with. Unfortunately, I know some of you are going to go, Mr. James, it has camp in it. I don't know if camp is related to campaign. I'm not sure if that root actually goes with it. But maybe you'll look that up and find some more information about it. The sample sentence I wrote says the candidate went on a campaign where he toured the country. So once again, using that more familiar idea of running for office being a campaign where they're getting support, out talking to people. Often it is said that they're out shaking hands and kissing babies. So, which I would highly not recommend that you do at this time. No shaking hands, no kissing babies with our current situation. Go ahead and write your own sentence with the word campaign in good context. Freeze the video while you do so. And our last word is the word territory, and territory is a noun, and it is found on page 11. And this one is great for morphological links because it has a common root in it that we'll talk about here in a second once I find the word in the text. And I'm looking in my text on page 11. And as I look through there, oh man, like I said, I got to get better at this. I had it earlier. Now I can't find it. There it is. It says at the bottom there of a trade agreement, I will read that part to you. I'm not good at that either. I'll improve. It says, until they were paid, the British would occupy parts of Tibet's territory. So we know that the territory is something that Tibet owns. And if they're going to occupy it, that means to live there. So that might give us more information. And so I think that we could make a guess then that the word territory is going to be like a piece of land or area. This is a great word for talking about how morphological links work. Territorial is a morphological link, but that root of terra actually means like land or piece of land or sometimes earth. And you are probably familiar with the term extraterrestrial. And extraterrestrial, that terrestrial means from Earth or from land. So extraterrestrial means from somewhere outside of or not from Earth or land, which means it is on a different planet. So it's like aliens, or you'd think of extraterrestrial planets or things that are out in space, kind of going back to what we learned recently in our last unit. A sample sentence here is that the Native Americans have ownership of small territories within the United States. So when we talk about Native Americans, they have reservations, is what they're often called, which is a piece of land within the United States that the Native Americans have that they own, that are still within the United States. So it is their territory. All right. Well, hopefully you learned something today and that you are getting your last sample sentence written. I look forward to talking to all of you again tomorrow. Just to make it really clear, I am recording most of these on the same day. So if I'm wearing the same clothes, it's not because I have been not changing my clothes on a daily basis. It's simply that Mr. James is doing a lot of these recordings all on the same day. So don't make fun of me if you think that I'm wearing all the same clothes every day. Hope all is well. I'll talk to you again soon. Have a great rest of your day.